So, I thought I would talk about rewards of being children of an artist. And yeah, those rewards, I suppose, are mostly, you know, what we keep to ourselves because sometimes people don't understand. And as far as career, well, I mean, I had really hoped to earn a degree to teach art, not to children, but I mean, college students are young and maturing and kind of becoming adults, but I mean, yeah, well, I didn't use the fact that my dad was an artist when I was an art student, and I didn't talk about it, and if I had, there are people that might have been deprecating about it anyway, but I just that to me isn't that appropriate to use. Yeah, well, so but when I was an undergrad and I had changed my major to art, and I told my maternal grandmother, and I am not speaking ill of the dead. I am stating a fact. She hit me, and that's the only time she ever hit me. And I stopped going to class that semester and ended up on academic probation. Back working on a degree in biology, and so my undergrad degree is in biology, and that's fine because I love plants and I love animals, and I do like science. But when after that I tried to pursue a degree in art, another undergrad degree, and really, I mean, I guess I was perceived as being old enough that I should be able to, live on my own, support myself. Well, a college degree doesn't guarantee that. And I worked a lot of the time that I was in college, but it was never jobs where I could support myself. And when I lived with my abusive ex boyfriend, I mean, there were, I think, he didn't work a whole lot. I worked more than he did, and he would make fun of me for working. But, I mean, I'm not saying he didn't work, but, I think he wanted to be making music more than working. And he also, if someone told him to do something and he didn't want to do it, he would mouth off and things like that. So, you know, sometimes relationships, people living together, it's because people need the income together, and all kinds of things can happen. But it would have been nice. I saw my dad struggle. He couldn't make enough money to support the family, and my mom didn't work outside the home. All right, so some people would say she worked. She was, a mother. But as far as having a job, all right. So you know, we grew up, we grew up creative. All of my brothers are creative, even if they didn't have a lot of training. There's creativity, but um, but yeah. So the benefits of having a parent as an artist. Well, I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe there are a lot of stories out there about that. As far as career, I mean, and surviving, I mean, all that's happened to me is I've been used, and I know there's been plenty of slander, and why? I mean, I guess it's just like that for some of us. So yeah, I mean, what were benefits? We grew up with creativity benefit. Should I use that word? What were advantages of that? Creativity being modeled, and being exposed to things. We might have used books laying around and things like that. And yeah, there was some humor too. I wouldn't say exceptionally lowbrow, but Dad always often had Mad Magazine around and Ellery Queen and things like that. Asimov, it's just those the back of the toilet literature. But yeah, we grew up being encouraged to be creative, and with that training and some of that encouragement, maybe it was by default, because I know for me, you get sent to your room, or there's not something else to do. Well, getting stuff that would otherwise go in the trash and making things with it. I didn't. It was really, really rare for me to have anything other than something like that to make things with. So yeah, now at this point in my life, what is my experience? Well, again, being used very badly. And a brother who was misunderstood, who was creative and who worked for years at a job that was probably pretty draining, and they had the mental capacity to do. He's very intelligent, but creative. And so two people that had children, and then the marriage ended suddenly, you know, uh, and what happens. So yeah, creativity. I think that's really important. Maybe it's not important to everyone. Being the child of an artist. I mean, I guess some of us just have to keep fighting to stay alive, and we know we're creative, and and we're secure enough in our creativity, even though, I mean, can it keep us alive? I mean, really, it just, you know, I don't know, maybe for some people there is an advantage as far as, career stepping stones and things like that. But yeah, I think for many of us who are creative, we just do what we do and people don't tend to see it. And that's really fine with me. I mean, I do things here, but as far as visual art and things like that, I mean, I've for sure lost some of my, you know, motivation with some things, but, you know, uh, when you are in a social environment, an academic environment where there's competition, and that even takes the form of, come here, just talk about people and things like that. That's immature. It's immature. It's harmful. And yeah. So anyway, creativity. It's important. Creativity. What did I do? What did I do? Starting, a bit over 5 years ago, I started tattooing myself. And yeah, I had tattoos, and I had, my first tattoo from, after an unpleasant experience that should not have happened. It is a never again. And now I'm inked. And yeah, so anybody wants to, invite me to go on a traveling road show, well, Garth would have to go too. And someone would need to stay and water the house plants or check in, every week or so. But yeah, so I think when we're creative, we have to make sure that no one puts out that in us, and yeah, and protect each other. When we know it's there, and when people don't understand communication, protecting a person, communicating something that is important to communicate, and sometimes that is through creativity.